Hello, everybody. It is Two Queers in the Truck, and we got some sad news today. Especially if you're of a certain age and you were a kid of especially of the 70s and early 80s, which Christian and I both were, and you can go to a skating rink.
I was just about to say that.
Water park, anywhere in that era and not hear that song, Xanadu by Olivia Newton-John. She passed away at the age of 73 to cancer, and she'd been battling cancer for quite a while, and we'll say cancer sucks. And we lost a great one. She was literally, arguably, probably our Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, pop artist of our childhood. You know, I mean, she did the really well-received Grease movie. You know, there was a musical set in high school times in the 1950s or 60s, and just was a very, very well-liked, very thoughtful human being, and just for me, forever young. I can't even picture her being 73. I mean, I think of 73, I think of my grandparents or something like that have long been dead, but I can't picture Olivia Newton-John as 73. And she passed away today. And I noticed a lot of the people I graduated high school with that are on my Facebook were all posting about her today. And I saw our friend in Texas,
Cindy.
Yeah, Cindy. She was posting too, because she's our age. And so, you just, it's something that I guess, just like when people get to, when Taylor Swift and all those stars, celebrities dying off, at ripe old ages, like that'll be their time, Lady Gaga or something like that. For us, our Lady Gaga especially of our elementary school days and early junior high, middle school days was Olivia Newton-John. What was your take? I mean,
I was, very similar to you when we heard this on Monday, because, we drop on Wednesdays, August the 10th. But when we heard it on Monday, which this morning or this afternoon, I was like, oh, and then when I saw on the news, on the world news I didn't realize that she was 70 something years old. And I saw the pictures, and, obviously she, like Cher, I mean, maybe not exactly like Cher, but, I was like, wow. But just the things that she accomplished, not only was she just an incredible star musically and in movies, but also she had was diagnosed from cancer in 2002, they said, and then she recovered, and then she started a cancer center in Australia to help people living through cancer. And then it came back in 2017. So she had been dealing with it, for the years. And it was just, just the things that they said. You never really heard anything. I guess I don't remember anything like bad being said about her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Growing up, I don't remember, maybe the typical stuff or whatever, but I don't remember like bad.
And I think when she got to a certain age, she was one of those celebrities that kind of went and lived kind of more of a normal life. And she was one that she moved back to Australia and kind of stayed out of the limelight too. She got to a certain point, probably, again, because she'd done everything she wanted to do career wise. And she was kind of, she kind of reminded me of some of the celebrities like a Sean Connery that said, he hit a certain age and he said, I'm going to retire. And there were so many films that they wanted him to come back for. There were sequels. And he's like, nope. The closest one he came actually was for that third or fourth installment of Indiana Jones. And they almost coaxed him out of retirement. And he just wouldn't do it. And he just, obviously, Olivia Newton-John was that same way. She didn't have her 15th farewell tour like Elton John. Not that there's anything wrong with it. He's an icon too. It just different strokes. Chris, they did just adopt a bunch of children, so maybe he was making sure he had enough money to let them live their lives for the next 50 years. But Olivia Newton-John will definitely be missed. She was the in fact, from what I understand on the pop charts, I think she was the #1 seller of the 1980s.
Wow.
And so she was a very prolific songwriter, and
I just remember that Let's Get Physical song.
yeah, I mean,
I remember the video.
Oh, it was very controversial.
And I didn't know I was gay. Well, I knew I was gay, but those are one of those. Yeah, those are one of those videos you watch. You're like, oh my god, this is. I was looking at the guys. I mean, I was like, oh, yeah. They're kind of. It was because I'd never been. Yeah,
that was kind of towards the end of her big popularity too. That was kind of like one of her last great hits was "Let's Get Physical" when the jazzercise and the aerobic craze hit in the early 80s. You know, Richard Simmons. You know, there's so much of that hit at that same time, but the sexual innuendo in the song. Yeah, you know, she's making it look like a workout video. Of course, she's really talking about sex and sensuality, and which in music at that time you didn't see that. You now see that. You know, Madonna took that torch from her, and Madonna, you know, took it to another level, and then you have somebody like Lady Gaga that took it to another level, and so many other phenomenal artists that now that are so much more upfront about sexuality and things of that nature. But at that time, pop stars just didn't do that, you know.
Yeah, well, at least female pop stars did.
Definitely not female.
I mean, maybe you know, some of them did.
In that respect, it wasn't her behaviors; it was just the song and how blatantly sexual it was. Everybody knew. It didn't matter how old you were. When you heard that song, you knew it's your dad. And it kind of took people aback because she also had kind of that puff pop, you know.
She come off Grease and and
you know, Xanadu and all those
Xanadu,
songs. They were more Karen Carpenter, but with a disco type beat, you know, a pop star type beat, and very soft. And Let's Get Physical took it down that, you know, that raunchy road, that hey, let's get physical, let's get it on, let's sweat it out. And it really changed. I think it probably in many ways she was probably the first pop star to inspire women to be more than just a pretty face, and a very much female empowerment, very, very much probably inspired many of the next generations of female artists that sung about sexuality and was more abrupt about it, you know, like, you know, because the Madonna came out with those late 80s.
Let me hear your body talk.
Yeah.
I want to get physical.
There was no gray area in the song. I mean, you know, except she just didn't use any, you know, slang words, but you knew what it was. And then, you know, Madonna came right at it with, you know, like a Virgin and Cher's. It seemed like Cher's even tempo went more sexual, you know, because then she had that late 80s or that turn back time, and she was on that aircraft carrier with that basically a latex V-string and a see-through bodysuit where you could see every square inch of her body except a couple parts, and I mean you know, and you saw female artists after that turn it up a little bit more, because she really gave them the empowerment to do that and took the hits for it too. I think it was one of the reasons it slowed her career down probably too. But on to the next topic. That was actually our first topic as well.
Hey, well, welcome to Queers in a Truck.
Yes, 2 Queers in a Truck. I think I slid it in once at the very beginning.
Okay, all right.
But in case you didn't figure it out, you know, of course, obviously, if you clicked onto this channel, you know that it's 2 Queers in a Truck. It is August 10th. And for here, we are in Charlotte Pride Month, which will be one of the topics later in the show. But another important topic is Sheila wins the 20th district in Florida. So and I didn't write down her last name, which was really unorganized to me. But a young lady by the name of Sheila, and then I'm going to butcher one of the last names. So she has a hyphenated last, Shaffilas McCormick, won the 20th district by a larger margin than Biden won that district in 2020. And one of the things that's important about this race is this was a replacement race for the 20th district that DeSantis refused to fill. And so they just left it open. And so essentially, when they had the special election, she just won it. She just flat out won it. And she is a Democrat. She is a looks like a younger African American woman. It does not, in the article, it does not have her age.
Oh, okay.
But I'm super excited for her. Super excited to see young progressive voices win. And absolutely, I guess it's a Florida House seat, so it's not the National Congress, but it's still something that's very important. It very much helps Florida, because you're getting more blue people in the Florida House, which the legislature absolutely needs more Democrats. Mm-hmm. And it was an idiotic move by DeSantis, but I think again you're seeing, one, she's a woman. Two, you're seeing Florida trying to be one of the most restrictive abortion states. Not only going after drag queens and the LGBT community, but they're also, trying to literally make it impossible to get any kind of reproductive justice in Florida whatsoever. I think things like this are indicative between the Kansas vote, protecting abortion there, and this right here. I think has no doubt is going to have a direct effect on the midterms this fall. I think they're going to have it as much as anything they do in Washington, because you got women pissed off and running for office and just fighting and scrapping. And you got women registering to vote in record numbers. You saw it in Kansas, like between the Dobbs decision and that election last month. You saw 70% of the new registrants in that time period were women. And I think it's not going to be real hard to get people to get out and register in a midterm, which is highly unusual. Normally midterms, you normally see a very big drop in turnout compared to the record numbers we saw in 2020. We may see almost a presidential year turnout. I don't know what you think about it. I don't know what you've read. I keep your ear to the ground in a lot of the political organizing circles, but it just seems like that lit a torch under people.
You hit the nail right on the head, Jenny, and you've been really on track of kind of following things. And, all we've heard since last year, Republican wave, a red wave, a red wave, a red wave. And all they have been running on is inflation, high gas prices, and I think remember it was COVID for a while. It was open schools. There was a couple of them, and every single one of them keeps getting. And that's all they have. That's all they're running on. They're not running on anything else. So every month, one of those gets knocked off. Jobs numbers were at historic highs in July. Gas prices have been going down like crazy. Is there still inflation? Yes, but it also means that people have more money to spend, which is one of the reasons why the prices have gone up. It's kind of supply and demand. So I don't know that many people are as upset about inflation as they want it to be, but it's still a concern, but that's all they have. And so when you have the Kansas thing, which was a surprise, I think most people, when you have this new law that was passed, when you have a lot of these things starting to chip away, the Democrats, we have a message. We have something to inspire our people. They have very little to inspire their people other than Biden's terrible, inflation's high. And so if you are a higher income person, inflation doesn't hurt you. And so that's not going to inspire GOP higher end people. Now, if you are a lower, like more of a MAGA Republican, Trump is hurting them by saying, don't believe the vote, don't go out and vote. So they're shooting themselves in the foot.
And people are getting tired of the negativity. So
amen.
They're starting to see the Democrats are actually doing something in Congress. And if you look at what's been passed in the first, not even full 2 years of his presidency, there's not been a president more effective than Joe Biden in the modern era. The last president that maybe was a successful as Joe Biden was FDR. There has not been a modern president that's passed more effective legislation in 2021 and 2022 than any other president. Obama didn't do it. Clinton didn't do it. Definitely Reagan, both Bushes and Nixon were, and even Carter were abject failures in their first 2 years. And whereas you've seen Biden in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of a attempted coup on the government, the first time that any organization inside the United States has tried to stop the peaceful transfer of power. Mm-hmm. Any one of those things could have put us into a civil war. And Joe Biden has not only guided us through that, mm-hmm. through a calm voice, and has not overreacted or acted like a child, unlike the former guy and all of his mm-hmm. little cult followers. And we're up against a break, and we'll come right back to address some more things on Two Queers in the Truck. Hey, everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in, and we're staying there. So enjoy the Two Queers in the Truck on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye-bye. Happy pod. Hey, y'all, a very important PSA. Monkeypox, a viral infection similar to chickenpox, is on the rise. There's been over 1,500 cases documented in the United States. If you've been exposed to the pox by a lover or by any other intimate contact, make sure you contact your county official or your personal physician. To learn more, you can contact any of your county health officials and see about a vaccine and or possible mitigating the symptoms. Be safe out there and have a fun summer. Bye.
Thank you, Boo, for that information. Bye.
We are back. In fact, which leads us into the third topic, which is what I'd like to title the blue wave. And we have seen a massive amount of legislation, especially a flurry of it.
Girl, don't jinx us.
I don't think we can, and they're doing the things that they need to do. And are we getting everything we want? No, but we're getting the things that we need. And sometimes we need to get the things we need versus the things that we want. And one of a massive amount of success in the last little less than 2 years, a little over a year and a half. Biden is over 10 million new jobs, a 3.6% unemployment, 86% drop in COVID death rate, the biggest infrastructure ever passed, the first gun safety bill in 30 years, Medicare bulk purchasing for the first time passed, electoral college reform passed, statutory legalization of gay marriage passed, restart of the U.S. micro industry passed, and we're seeing things that you couldn't even dream of, and that's just a partial list. The most of that came from this year.
So Jen, all those things you've listed is what's going to motivate Democrats to come out, right? Correct. So what's going to motivate Republicans?
Hopefully nothing.
No, I'm being sarcastic, I guess, in a way. I mean,
well, high inflation. The most important point. This is what having a party platform and having a game plan that Biden sat down, 3 years ago when he announced he was going to run in 2019 and said, these are the things I want to do. And, it gained traction, obviously, when COVID, hit and was looming. But he also spoke to, and he was also a very effective vice president. He was put in charge of the economic recovery of 2009, 2010, and pushed a lot of things through the Senate and the House because he'd been in the Senate for so long. And we kind of forget how much he did as vice president. And whether you like him or not, he was not my first choice. I did not vote for him in the primary. I did vote for him in the general, but I did not vote for him in the primary. I had a different I had a different choice.
It's not. Yep.
And I wanted a woman president, so I voted for Warren. I thought she had the best chance of winning, and even though she was quite a ways behind by the time that our primary happened, but anyway, I still wanted to vote my. I didn't care who won in certain ways. I just wanted a good candidate to win. That we needed to beat Trump, and in that nightmare. But obviously, she was my choice of passion. I felt very passionate about having a female president, and thought we got cheated in 2016. So, but the reality is, we have seen a tremendous amount of legislation with a divided 50-50 Senate, having to fight both, the rules, the for some reason we still got the filibuster,
Yeah.
and there's a couple other things that one little meme didn't even mean. Biden also killed the Al Qaeda leader this year.
Exactly.
Cut the head off the snake. You saw the bipartisan gun law, but really it was more of a Democrat law. There was only a few Republicans that voted for it, but it was probably not primarily a Democrat thing. We saw this incredible package for the Inflation Reduction Act that has done absolutely some of the most groundbreaking things that will not just pay dividends this year, but are going to do the things we should have done 20 years ago, like reducing carbon emissions and attacking that, which affects health, affects economics, affects so many things, because two of the biggest things, obviously, one is guaranteeing clean, renewable energy and getting us just off of, being strangled by a petroleum problem. Well, we have the technology to get off all petroleum products tomorrow. But we got to spend the money to build the infrastructure to move us into a modern era. And so many of these things, this Inflation Reduction Act, are going to take us and make us competitive, and things of that nature. But then we also saw that we turned around and pushed and fought to protect our veterans. We just saw the PACT Act pass, so we kept our commitment. We so many times in our country, including what happened to my father's generation with the Vietnam veterans, is that we love our soldiers, but we hate our veterans.
But what's even more important, Jenny, is we passed it, but it was after the Republicans screwed up and voted against it, or most of them, like Ted Cruz and all of them, and then they had to backtrack, like, oh, what we really meant to say was we supported it, but they had already messed up. Veterans had.
You already had what's his face, Ted Cruz and Senator Daines fist bumping each other as it got voted down. And that was just, not only did you vote against veterans,
then you fist bumped.
Dying from a war that also happened on your watch, that our federal government exposed to these chemical-laden burn pits. But we've done this before. We did this with Agent Orange when we fought, taking Agent Orange seriously, when the government knew that they'd been exposed to these chemicals. We used them as a defoliant to be able to help us fight in the jungle better. And so we knew we exposed them. We knew it got sprayed on them. We knew that we had troops on the ground as they got hit with a defoliant. We knew that kind of stuff was going to cause cancer and all kinds of other things, which it did. And then we turn around a generation or two later, we did the exact same thing. We don't really learn our lesson very well, but you've got to keep your commitment to the veterans, no matter what you thought of the 9/11 wars for profit that was very much against. The people that served our country and did the work and didn't question it and did the best job they could do not deserve to have us break our promise. Every senator that voted against it the third time ought to just be pulled out of office. There shouldn't even be an election. You should just be fired. That's a dereliction of duties. To me, it's almost treasonous and criminal, in my opinion. Going on, why pay more? Insulin is cheaper in almost every country but here, even though we manufacture our own supply. And once again, Republicans keep voting against it. And you have to ask why. You have to ask why other countries that are paying $6 and $7 for it, and our average customer is paying $200, $300, $400, $1,000 for a treatment, and you're wondering why we are ripping off our own people, and for something that's been on the market a long time, the manufacturers long past recovered their manufacturing costs and their inventing costs, and they've made all their money back, and it's something that millions, tens of millions of Americans are dependent on. But Australia, for 1 unit of insulin in Australia, is $6.94. The UK, $7.52. France, $9.08. Germany, $11. Canada comes in at a whopping $12, and Japan, $14.40. And we've gotten the price down a little bit, but it's at $98.70. And you can't tell me, when most of those currencies in those countries are on par with us, or within, some are even worth more, like Germany and France have a better currency than we have. You can't tell me that America the Great, that produces our own insulin supply, and California just is having a plant come on. The California government is actually going to build their own insulin manufacturing plant and cap the cost at $35 for sure, if not lower. That our federal government couldn't have done the same thing, or just say, well, we'll produce our own and we'll cut you out of the market for Medicare and Medicaid at least, and make a nationalized insulin production facility. Why it's still up to 20 to 10 times higher than the worldwide average, and countries that are very similar to us, Australia, UK, France, Germany, Canada, and Japan, are all our democratic peers. They all are democracies. They're all very on par economies, if not better. There's no reason for us to be paying $98 when Japan at the highest is at $14.40. That's embarrassing. That's just that. I don't care who you are. I don't even care which political your party is. When you look at that, you go, how are we that stupid? Because that's only hurting our economy. And quite frankly, I've known some people that couldn't afford their insulin and actually died because of it. It's very common for people to skip insulin or not go without insulin. And for something so basic and so simple and so easy to produce. But $98.
So Jen, what is the argument? I know Cinema helped take it out of this last bill, right?
Right.
What is the argument for that?
Well,
Why?
the argument to not cap the costs is it'll hurt pharmaceutical companies. But the reality is, if we were talking about a really cutting edge drug that had billions of dollars worth of costs that weren't recouped, and we weren't offering them any kind of relief for that, that would be true. Insulin, they more than made their money back. There is absolutely no reason. The only argument they have is a false argument. And it's the same argument that Senator Scott from Florida, a Republican, that says Medicare should not be able to negotiate costs, which is funny because Republicans and libertarians, which are just Republican light, keep talking about market forces. Let the market forces dictate. I'm going, well, that's what Medicare has been asking for years, is let us negotiate. We are the largest purchaser of drugs in the United States, for sure, if not the world. We should be able to negotiate like any other insurance company should.
Exactly.
And or any other country,
Yes.
like if they have a centralized medicine, like
Blue Cross Blue Shield negotiates their prescriptions.
Correct. So we're just giving them the same tool that any other deal, and we're letting them operate like a business, which Republicans always say. We've got the business acumen that we ought to be able to do this, and it'll save billions of dollars just on that one drug alone. Because why should Medicare and Medicaid pay more for insulin than need be? And the majority, a lot of the people that use or that are insulin dependent in the United States are people that are on Medicare and Medicaid. In fact, it's probably one of the number one reasons why some cuz are on Medicare and Medicaid is insulin. And it's a wildly, powerful and effective drug. It keeps people alive. It keeps people's quality of life really good. And it's just unhinged that it just seems like, not only with the insulin, but also the Medicare Medicaid negotiating power, why these are hard concepts that their time is way past. And it was the same thing they fought in the ACA and won and had that all taken out, when price caps taken out and negotiating power is taken out. And luckily, with this new passage of the Inflation Reduction Act, a lot of that's put back in. And insulin, one of the things that's going to be interesting is when California's production line comes online and they start producing large quantities of insulin, start selling it cheaper than everybody else. Market forces are definitely going to be affected anyway, because they plan on producing enough to sell outside of California. And then what?
But don't you think that's a fundamental difference between a state like California, which I would love to live in if I could afford it, and a state like Texas, which I would love to live in if it was normal?
That's a big one.
Yeah, exactly. The fundamental difference is a state like California, they're doing what they can to help people in their state. The state like Texas, and it's always been libertarian, but it's so extreme now. They're doing whatever they can to make it as uncomfortable for people they don't like, whoever they don't like. It just happens to be whoever it is at the time. And it's like, why? I mean, the whole concept of government is so warped in
on one side,
Texas right now. Yeah, and it's just bizarre. It's like, it's just weird. Yeah,
so
it's weird.
Speaking of that, we're going to take our next break, and then we will go back to talking about warped people and unhinged people on the next subject, actually. Hey, y'all, a very important PSA. Monkeypox, a viral infection similar to chickenpox, is on the rise. There's been over 1,500 cases documented in the United States. If you've been exposed to the pox by a lover or by any other intimate contact, make sure you can contact your county official or your personal physician. To learn more, you can contact any of your county health officials and see about a vaccine and or possible mitigating the symptoms. Be safe out there and have a fun summer. Bye.
Thank you, Boo, for that information. Bye.
So just recently, CPAC had another little shindig down in Florida.
Oh, good golly.
Or was it? No, it was actually in Texas.
It was in Dallas.
Yeah, it was in Dallas.
They have a lot of conventions, don't they?
They sure do. A lot of weird ones, too. And this one, I never really paid attention to CPAC for the most part, because it would be something I would never attend unless it was to like throw rotten eggs at them or something like that. But I don't know if CPAC has always been like this as far as the drama and the performative performances. Like, I can't think of anybody, Republican or Democrat, that I've seen an office holder go into this set, this actual movie or play setting where they made this fake jail cell, and they got one of the January 6th terrorists there that has gotten put on probation because he ratted out 18 other of the terrorists and turned them in and turned state evidence on. So he's a stand-up guy. And you have Marjorie Taylor Greene play acting with him in some kind of weird, culty, Stepford Wives, creepy, almost sexual, but yet religious thing. It seems like if the Moonies and Charles Manson put on a play, this is what this would look like. And it's just like she's physically in his bubble, consoling him, and then there's people outside praying in tongues and cult like. It is one of the creepiest, not the only creepy thing that came out of that. A bunch of Republicans got up there and lied about a bunch of stuff, including Senator Scott, about totally misinforming the public, saying how the inflation thing is going to be terrible for America, and paying down our deficit and the money we owe is just a bad idea.
Hey, Jake, I was thinking about this because I saw that that they were having CPAC, and just 2 weeks ago they were having the youth CPAC or whatever in Tampa, where Matt Gaetz said the thing about women and thumbs. And the week before that, they had it's like every other weekend there's some convention. It's like all they do is they go to these conventions, and no one really goes to those. I mean, they're not sold out. I mean, it's just more of a showcase for politicians, and they play them on the news. And if someone wants to get a lot of attention,
and the people that are big donors to organizations like CPAC, that it's an extremist group.
Yeah, exactly. They're all just Family Research Council has theirs, and they all have their own thing. So that's not something that we do as Democrats.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't do those kind of things.
Yeah.
Do you think we should do those kind of things, or do you? I mean, we would do better things with our time, right?
Being a member of a political action committee, Equality North Carolina, which is a progressive LGBT and organization, if I went up to Raleigh and went to a convention, or they had one here in Charlotte, and I saw that kind of crap, first thing I would do is I would walk up to the highest ranking person in the org and say, "I'm done. This is Republican crap. This is cult crap. I don't want to be part of a cult. It's so off kilter. That, to me, it's so bizarre to see them make a full blown play, like an actual performative play, with a sitting congressperson in office right now, running for re-election, on her knees, practically in this guy's crotch, and he's a friggin' terrorist. He's a terrorist. He's in a group that was responsible for killing police officers. You remember when Blue Lives Mattered to the Republicans? Except for when they wanted to steal an election. And I can't think of a time. I don't know. I'm trying to draw on my memories of the 80s and 90s and the 2000s, and even with the wackiness of the Bushes and Reagan and Nixon, I can't think of a time, a lifetime, or an incident where you look at that and you put it in perspective that this guy's a terrorist. He's a terrorist that ratted out the 18 other terrorists just so he wouldn't have to go to jail. He's a convicted criminal. And we've got a congressperson willing to sit there and show some kind of weird sympathy, but yet she's with the same party that has voted against veteran benefits.
But you know what, Jenny? That's exactly why I think, at least for the next two elections, I don't know how long it will last, but at least for the next two elections, if you're a person who's running against someone like that, and we talk about this all the time, you can't run like a typical Democrat. You have to run like the Lincoln Project is running your campaign. You have to play videos of her like that. You've got to just throw it in her face. You can't run like.
But I will say, and from what I'm seeing the Democratic Party not only walk the walk legislatively on the national level, but you also see even Gavin Newsom running commercials when he's not even running for office this year.
Exactly. He's smart. Yep.
And but you're seeing other Democrats starting to do that too. And you're seeing other ancillary organizations getting super, super aggressive. And you're seeing a lot of social media influencers that are either paid by the Democratic Party or paid by one of our PACs to do daily postings. And they're all getting super aggressive. But they're also running on our record, and our record's damn good. What Biden has done and the Democrats have done in Congress has been nothing short of miraculous, considering what we've been up to and what shoddy rules were in place when we won in 2020, including winning back the Senate. And so I think that we can run on our record and we can go after them.
We can chew gum and eat at the same time.
Like and showing Senator Scott lie about why we should not lower or let Medicaid and Medicare negotiate prices. Like, repeat that and go, well, why don't you want to lower prices? Why are you against lowering prices? And it's not going to put any of those pharmaceutical companies out of business. They got more money than they need. That's not the issue. Everybody knows that. Nobody's stupid. Or at least Democrats aren't stupid and independents aren't stupid.
And if you are stupid, you're probably going to vote for that person anyway.
Correct.
So we're not going to be able to change their mind. Exactly.
That group. But we've got to make people realize lower medical costs, especially medicine, maintenance medicine, especially where you got to take it for years, if not the rest of your life. That's a social justice thing.
Exactly.
That's going to help communities that traditionally make less money but have less.
Jenny, I know you're going to give your topic, but you said earlier about the Medicaid and Medicare; those are the largest. Or I can't remember what you said about insulin, right? That's our money. Yeah, that's taxpayer money. So that's taxpayer money being paid to a private company. We should be concerned about our own money.
And kudos to Medicare and Medicaid for fighting for this. I'd say we want to fight for the taxpayer.
Exactly.
And get the proper prices that every other country enjoys from these same pharmaceutical companies, by the way. These are a lot of the pharmaceutical drugs and R&D comes out of the United States. It's one of our biggest industries. So it's not like Canada has their own pharmaceutical companies. They may have a few, but they don't have as big of an industry as we have. So they're buying these same drugs from our companies, and their customers up in Canada are paying $6 for this, $5 for that. We're paying $200, $300, $400. And so to put to a final point of it, why are we getting screwed by primarily our own companies? But we'll let Canada negotiate prices.
Good point.
We'll let the UK negotiate prices. Mm-hmm. Why are we say, for the people that, and most people that are on Medicare and Medicaid, typically are low income people.
Yeah,
especially
exactly.
You qualify for Medicaid, you got to be low income.
Yeah.
Why in the world would we put more of a burden than we need to?
Mm-hmm.
That's just raw bone stupid.
Yeah.
But the last topic is a little bit more of a funny topic and a little bit more fun. So
we're going to end on a positive note.
Yes. So one is that it is Charlotte Pride Month. So we have the third weekend of the month is our full-blown Pride weekend. Pride is back. The second part, and it's kind of related to Pride, it's about sausage. Cracker Barrel has brought on a new product.
Oh, I saw that.
They're using, I believe it's the Impossible vegan sausage. And people are losing their minds. They're calling Cracker Barrel woke. They're
boycotting.
They say, well, I just won't go to that restaurant because they got vegan sausage. Like it's some kind of super liberal, crazy. And so they're losing their mind over sausage and not in a good way, not in the Pride way. And it's just so bizarre. And Brian Tyler Cohen talked about it. BTC talked about it the other day. And that's why this is how I heard about it, actually. And posted while he was talking, he was posting some of the comments on social media from these people flipping out that like it's one of the most un-American, unhinged, anti-this, anti-that over an American company that makes plant-based sausage. It tastes good. I've had it. Not at the Cracker Barrel, but I've bought it at the stores. And it to me, for what, it's way healthier. And number two, it's like what Cracker Barrel wants to do. They're a private enterprise, and yet they're being attacked for doing something that's helping their customers. For the people that maybe want to go to Cracker Barrel and have the taste of sausage, but maybe they have heart problems or they have high cholesterol.
Exactly.
And the sausage in general, even turkey sausage, is pretty greasy, pretty fat. It's not, it's not tofu and kale shake, like it's not, we're not talking about something that, is known for it regular animal-based sausage is never going to be healthy. It's kind of nasty, actually. But I just think it's funny.
I saw that Monday, and about how the outraged people were threatening to boycott, which I thought was hilarious.
The big old Republicans, just
because if you, first of all, it's like Whataburger. If you're a fan of Whataburger, you're never going to boycott Whataburger.
Yeah.
So the people that are saying that are people who probably don't really go to Cracker Barrel a lot.
Right.
They've been to Cracker Barrel. Yeah, they've been to Cracker Barrel, but they're not like the people that like Andrew's parents go like every week.
Sure. Yeah.
There's
a certain group of people that really love Cracker Barrel.
Yeah. And so, you're not going to, like, if Whataburger came out with like an Impossible Burger, I wouldn't boycott Whataburger. I just wouldn't eat the Impossible Burger.
That's that's the most bizarre thing. So, at any time the Republicans are anti on something, which is almost everything, because they're just these emotional snowflakes that just freak out over Impossible sausage. Like I'm going. If that is your biggest problem, you have a lot of privilege.
It's because they really want the real thing.
Well, yeah, but they, pride's open to all, and the glory holes don't discriminate. I can tell you that. So I mean, even Lindsey Graham has proven that, and Madison Cawthorn, they definitely had the possible sausage is what they had,
exactly.
Possible sausage.
Somehow that needs to be turned into. I realize how upset you are that they're coming, because I know that you're used to the real sausage.
Right. You like the possible sausage, not the impossible sausage. You don't want no imposter. You want the cream of some young guy. So anyway, it is so bizarre. I just thought it was ironic that it was in Charlotte Pride Month when this came up.
Yeah.
Well, I just thought it was kind of a tongue-in-cheek play off words.
That's funny.
But what a bizarre and weird. It kind of really. I think that story with the Cracker Barrel explains 2022 and where we're at. And that they make everything a culture war. They make everything a gaslighting moment.
Yeah.
And on something that's from the same group that's talking about freedom and free markets and competitiveness. And Cracker Barrel is looking and going, well, we have a pretty greasy, fatty, sugary menu.
Yeah.
That maybe it wouldn't hurt to throw in a plant-based sausage. And
it's not like they're replacing the sausage; they're adding it. If you still want that
porky, greasy,
it's very similar to abortion. If you don't like abortion, don't have one.
Right? Yeah, and if you don't like, you don't want to marry a man, don't marry a man.
Exactly.
If you're a man, like you don't have to have gay sex. You probably want gay sex. If you're all alarmed about, to me, if you think
you don't like sucking dick, don't suck a dick.
Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as that. To me, people that sit there and spend so much time thinking about a particular thing, if you're obsessed about that so much, and Impossible sausage, for example, got you so up in arms, what would trigger that? What would make you such a emotional snowflake?
Crazy
about anything. Me, it's the same thing with the mask. If a mask is that triggering for you, don't go into the store. Just order online and let them bring it out to your car. Easier anyway. Most of the time when I go to Target, Target's made it so easy that you pull into the slot. And you don't even have to go in the store.
Exactly.
And most of the things I buy from Target, I already know what I want. I don't really buy produce from them, so I don't need to look at the produce.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to look for anyway. It's not like I'm a farmer or something like that, or a botanist or something. But so most of the things I order from Target are things I've used before, like dish soap, basic paper towels, that sort of thing. I go on there, click, click, click. They run my little debit card, and then they give me a time, and then they send me an email when it's ready for pickup. I slide by there at my earliest convenience. I sit in my little car. They bring it out to me. I show my little receipt on my phone. They put it in my car. I don't have to go in the store. I don't have to accidentally run into Republicans, and I give it away.
That reminds me, I have something to pick up at Target tomorrow. I forgot.
Yeah. Wait,
I forgot almost today.
Store and every restaurant in Charlotte, North Carolina, and pretty much any city, no matter how big it is, has curbside service. It's become a value-added service of the 2020s. It is really smart. I mean, it was happening before, but just not at this adoption level. But you can pull up to Walmart, you can pull up to Target. Your local
I buy all my groceries curbside.
Yeah, why not?
In, out. That's it.
Wait, you don't have to deal with anybody, and it's so simple and it's so easy. And they literally just walk it out. Like the biggest thing is to me is having to navigate the stores and the wackos and deal with long lines. You talk about a time savings where you just pull up and within 5 minutes they're out at your car, if that long. And to me, these bougie, wacky, crazy Republicans that are so up in arms about things and masks and possible sausage and everything else, it's just like, books. They're banning books. They're protesting drag queens. They're just. It's literally. I go, well, maybe we should make a list of what you do like, because obviously it's going to be very short.
Exactly. And we've been talking about this all year long for 2 years.
Republicans hate
the Republicans are the party of hate everything.
Yeah, they hate everything.
And eventually you have to say, what do you actually like?
Yeah.
Well, I like American freedoms and this. All right. So
you'd be like a business making a health-based decision and saying, we're going to give this offering. A lot of senior citizens eat at our place. A lot of senior citizens have heart problems and different things that affect cholesterol, diabetics, that sort of thing. And this plant-based sausage has as much protein or more than its animal counterpart. And it gives them a way to eat with their family and loved ones without being the odd person out and sitting there eating.
And I'll be honest, when we go next with the Andrews family, I'm probably more likely to order it than I am the regular sausage. Because for me, substituting something so simple, now that I eat the plant-based stuff, you don't notice any difference unless you're eating like a whole.
And who taught you that?
You did.
Yes, because Jenny's always right. Yes. But that is, we ran way past time, probably by about 10, 20 minutes on this last segment, but we are excited. Charlotte Pride is back for people that live in the North Carolina, South Carolina, or if you're willing to drive, everybody's welcome.
Yep.
Except for MTG. But anyway, because I'm pretty sure Madison Cawthorn's going to make it. Yeah. He just lives down the road.
Yeah. And is it wheelchair accessible?
Very much so. Yeah, we actually take pride in making sure we go by all the ADA rules.
And we'll see him.
I don't think it would stop him anyway. There's a will, there's a way. Yeah. Where there's Dick, there's going to be Madison Cawthorn there. That's but anyway, it starts this coming Sunday and runs to the next Sunday. And there's all kinds of light, more intimate events, smaller events during the week, and then starting the Saturday and Sunday, a week from this Saturday and Sunday, is our bigger events, our parades, our festival, and all that kind of stuff. So happy Pride, happy Charlotte Pride. And I'll see you later.
Actually, I think that's actually on the Coffee and Producer. That's the next show. Charlotte Pride Returns. I forgot to say that on the earlier show.
Our next show is actually about Pride and
Wednesday,
and our local Pride. So, and on that note,
excellent.
We'll put a little bit more Olivia Newton-John music on.
Oh, I remember how happy I was when I bought roller skates.
Oh, no. How many times have we roller skated to these kind of songs? This is a song for Grease.
So much.
One of the title songs.
We need to go to a roller skating rink or something. I saw a commercial for it.
Yes. That's how I'll go out. I don't roller skate rig.
Bye. Bye, boo.
Bye. Hey, thanks for watching Two Queers in a Truck, and a little tribute to Olivia Newton-John singing right now. She passed away Monday. And y'all have a great week. Be safe out there. And
Babu.
Babu. Hello, everybody. We got Two Queers in a Truck, another episode in the can. We appreciate y'all watching and tuning in every week. Hope that you tune into our podcast, both with Coffee and Pandosi and Two Queers in a Truck. We talked about all kinds of things this week, from white supremacy to Joe Biden calling somebody a son of a bitch to a whole bunch more. Thanks for tuning in, and y'all be safe.
Bye, boo boo.